You know, viewers, I kind of wasn't planning on going antiquing for a while because of what happened in episode 4, but this one place on Instagram, they were advertising on there. I don't know, they had some really nice stuff. So I kind of went, but more on that in a minute. Yes, viewers, before we hear about my alarming antiques exploit here, we got to hear about Mike Wennon and his Westclox Facebook group. He's also got a Luxclox Facebook group as well. I'm going to link both in the description. They're both full of members who post pretty regularly. And you got me in both of them too, so it's a win-win situation. Here, check out his ad. And remember, you too can climb aboard the carousel and get your content advertised completely free of charge on both the Gregola Records Club channel on the episodes of Servisola, or on the Gregola Productions channel, which you are currently seeing this on the episodes of the GPWS. As previously stated, this is a completely free program to get involved with. All you have to do is check out the How Can I Get Advertised video link in the description. After that, either message me on Discord or send your completed product to commercialcarousel@gmail.com. That is commercialcarousel@gmail.com.
Let's go steady for the summer.
So anyways, viewers, welcome back to Alarming Antiques. Nothing was damaged in that little fall we just had there. And yeah, as I was saying, I wasn't planning on going, but there was some Instagram posts from this one store that I hadn't been to for a while. And stuff looked fairly promising. So I think I'll do least to greatest. I think that's the way to go. So starting us off, we have one of the first generation, or at least what looks to be one of the first generation, Westclox Style 8 Baby Bens. Greg, what makes you say that? Not the patent date on the back, I can tell you that much. Don't date your clocks by patent dates, guys. It's not accurate. This is just when this design was patented. It's not when the clock was made. No, what really gives it away at first glance is the color scheme. We have a black bell, black base, chrome bezel, white dial, black hands that are, I guess, hollowed out, you could say. This color scheme was first introduced in 1964 with all the rest of the Style 8 colors that, well, not all of them. When Tally Industries bought the General Time Corporation in 1968, they really bastardized the Style 8. They went from this late mid-century modern look that this has, at least if you ask me. I mean, it's not like 50s mid-century modern, it's more 60s. You have like a sunburst dial here and the hollowed hands. I don't know, just the way the whole thing looks. It's a really nice design as it is with these colors. But anyway, Tally Industries, they buy out General Time in 1968, which owned Westclox and Seth Thomas, and they went to work on bastardizing and updating the flagship Westclox products. Both Big and Baby Ben, I'm pretty sure one of the first changes they made to these was not even the color scheme. They started changing movements around. They gave the Baby Ben movement to the Big Ben because the Big Bens had the Style 7 Big Ben movements, and well, the Style 8s had the Style 7 movements, which was perfectly fine. They're great movements, but anyway, that got cut out, and everything got the Baby Ben movement. So Big Ben doesn't even have his own movement anymore. Realistically, these are much cheaper to make, and they are still serviceable because they've got well, it's not because, but a sign you can tell they're still serviceable is if they've got steel control knobs and a key. If they have plastic control knobs and a key, then like a metal key, then it means the original plastic key has broken and someone has replaced it with a metal one. So if your clock has plastic controls anywhere on it, minus the soft and loud switch here, which is usually rubber, this one's metal, don't buy it, okay? Or if you already own it, then you've got one of the Tally Industries Westclox. But anyway, so yeah, Tally Industries gave everything the Baby Ben movement in 1968, and then they ended up, as I said, giving things plastic controls, and conveniently for us, they gave plastic controls to the riveted together Baby Ben movements. They're identical to these ones here, except they're just made with cheaper materials, and they're not bolted together like these ones are. So this is a theory that I have, okay? If your clock has plastic controls, the movement is riveted together. If you're and this is only for the Style 8 series of Bens here, okay? If a Big Ben has plastic controls, and you know the key arrangement and the control arrangement will be identical to this one, then it's got a riveted together movement. So I hope that makes some sort of sense. I use this knob theory all the time, and it hasn't been proven wrong yet. Some of the clocks, all this stuff that I've been talking about now, the stuff in the UK and whatnot, it's a different ballgame over there. I don't even think the Big Ben's got the Style 7. I don't know. It was kind of all over the place across the pond. But anyway, North America, they gave the Style 8s, the Style 7 movement in 1964, and then in 1968 they changed it out for the Baby Ben one, and then later on in the 70s they gave him plastic riveted together movements, or plastic controlled riveted together movements. Anyway, it's kind of complicated, but I don't know, if your clock looks very 70s-ish color-wise, and you can Google these, you know, Style 8s, Big or Baby Ben, you can Google these and you can see fairly quick which ones have which look more 70s and 80s. Anyway, yeah, these things were bastardized really badly, and they were just, I don't know, they just don't look good to me. So I just avoid those clocks because they can't be serviced and they don't look good. Anyway, way to go on a rant, Greg, hey? No, it's just because there's so many versions of this thanks to Tally Industries just making more versions of these really cheaply. Anyway, as for this particular example, it does not run, it needs servicing. Should I service it on camera? I have my kind of crap, I don't know, it was my first ever clock YouTube servicing series. It was a Style 8 Baby Ben. It was this one, except it had the black dial and luminous hands. I don't know if I'm going to service this one on camera or not, but it's a nice clock either way. I will be servicing it, and the alarm, I think it's all gummed up. Just make it trip. I don't know if something's up with the rubber grommets there, why it kind of cuts or fades in and out like that. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to investigate that. Anyway, that's the Style 8 Baby Ben. Hopefully the first generation. Next up, we have a Westclox Silver Bell. This one's in really rough condition, and it has a Style 66 movement in it. Why it's called the Style 66, I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, yeah, it has one of these in it. Why am I winding this thing up? Yeah, this thing's a real rust bucket, and this is definitely going to need a service. And you can see the balance wheel moving in there. Yeah, you can see it going in there. But anyway, yeah, I got this for parts because I have some 66s that aren't working all that well right now. So I'm going to use this one as a donor clock. And plus, I've already got one of these, like this exact model here, in nicer condition. So anyway, this is a donor. Let's just see how the alarm works. Looks like oh, okay, no. We're good here, I think. Oh, we're not even, probably not even wound. Oh, no. Oh, no, we're just really gummed up. Okay, I see. Yeah, definitely a donor clock here, but not terrible, you know? As for the Style 66 movement itself, It was around, I think, from 1937 or so to 1950... Actually, no, I think 1964. I believe it was discontinued right when the infamous Baby Ben Style 8 movement was introduced, the original good quality one. Yeah, the 66 would be the movement for all Westclox budget clocks and like all the. I'm pretty sure most of the novelty alarm clocks had the 66 in it. It was it was the one-stop shop for all of these types of clocks here. I mean, you can see the case on this. This is kind of cheap, you know. In post 1964, the Baby Ben movement would have its center knob removed, and it would have a modified alarm setting knob to set the time. But anyway, that's a whole story in itself. But yeah, the Baby Ben movement would come along and replace this eventually. Once again, viewers, this is what I mean by saying that Tally Industries just gave the Baby Ben movement to absolutely everything. And there's plenty of Silver Bell Westclox clocks with the Baby Ben movement in it. In fact, at the store that I was at, they had some of those there. I left them behind because they were way overpriced, but yeah, I didn't bother with them. And next up, going in a completely opposite direction, we have one of the Westclox electric wall clocks here. Yes, this is a Westclox Dunbar here in white. Greg, why the heck did you get a Westclox Dunbar? Okay, well, my friend in Florida, C. Porter, has one of these, and he needs some help with it. He doesn't know really where to go with it. He knew I would be the guy for the job, but he wants to, like, I told him to ship it to me, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to learn himself, and I wanted to kind of see what one of these Dunbars was like as well. And he showed me a picture of the movement here. It should be up on screen now. And, you know, that looks like a fairly elaborate movement. You have your, what looks to be an electric motor to the left there, and then you have some other stuff going on, and there's some rust there that needs taking care of, you know. It looks pretty extensive. It looks like a nice movement, too. Although his power cord's kind of crap, but he won't change it because he's probably too scared to play around with a soldering iron, let's be honest. Unlike me over here, of course. Anyway, we're actually going to pop this open and see the movement in this. You guys are going to find this hilarious. I know I did. C. Porter's Dunbar is from 1946, I believe. At some, I don't know what month, but it's from 1946. And you also know the power cord looks like it's gone. It's not gone. I've taken this off before and I just put it in here. So his is from 1946, okay? And on the outside, ours look identical. His has been repainted to yellow, but it was originally red. And I think it's because of sentimental value that he doesn't want to take the yellow paint off. And plus, this thing's plastic. I don't know how you get paint off plastic. I don't know. I think he'd have to find a whole new case for his if he wanted to do that. So he's leaving his alone. Oh, and by the way, that actually what I've just said there might be a bit problematic. You know, the whole thing about finding a new case. Anyways, viewers, this has the, let me see here. It's CSA approved. It's 100 and, what is it? Oh no, it's 60 cycles. It's 2 watts, made in Canada. Okay, fair enough. Who remembers the Westclox orb? Who remembers that movement, okay? Well, this basically has the same thing. Oh no, viewers. Oh, I try and get it, you know, I try and get the clock to help Chase out here. And what do we get? We get one of these, and he described this rotor here. He said it looked like a bee, probably because all the holes in it. But anyway, yeah, it's completely different. It's most definitely a scaled back movement. I mean, this thing looks very similar to the Westclox Sphinx. Well, actually, no, it doesn't look similar. This part here is straight out of the Sphinx and the Westclox Orb, and basically all the electric clocks that I've messed around with. Even the Westclox Logan has a different version of this, but it still has it. This one is from and I see there's some pen someone has written in here 12. I think that's that looks like a I don't know what the heck that's supposed to be. Is this supposed to be a 5? I don't know. Anyway, this is, let me just check here. This one was made in March of 1953. So mine is much later than his. And here is the power cord. We've got an acorn, I believe it's called an acorn nut or something. It's an acorn plug or something. I can't remember what the heck it's called. It's an acorn plug, okay? And this one actually looks in really decent shape. But I think I'm going to replace this anyway because this kind of freaks me out, honestly. Like, seriously, this here with these exposed copper wires like this, I know it's awesome that this cord has survived so well, but that scares me. Maybe I should send this power cord over to Chase. Oh, man. Anyway, okay. So, as you can see, this has heat shrink tubing on it. It's heat shrinked directly to the rotor, which I believe has cloth wires. Nope, this one actually has rubber wiring here. Oh, you can't really see that. The Sphinx had cloth wiring. I don't know who remembers that, though. Greg, you said something earlier about not being able to replace the case, or the case being a problem or something like that. Okay, here's what I'm talking about. This is the setting knob for the clock, okay? So when you pull this down, you can move the hands around, okay? And this thing likes to, slip as well. I don't know if you can really see, or, well, I'm the one doing this, so you can't really feel it, but, oh, maybe you just caught that. What the heck is going on with this thing? This is the setting mechanism here. You pull this down, and it gets... Oh, maybe you can't really see it from here. You pull this down, and it moves this brass gear here, that big chunky... Oh, my goodness. That big chunky brass gear turns that aluminum gear up there, or either it's steel or aluminum. And maybe it's just because the back is off, and this is all kind of floating free right now. But... I don't know, this thing likes to slip a lot, this setting mechanism, and I'm pretty sure that will be the downfall of this clock, just because that's a fairly cheap setting mechanism, if you ask me. And the fact that you can't remove this either, that makes it so much worse. That's brutal. I don't know, I don't think those clips there are meant to come off. I don't know what you'd call that, but I don't think it's meant to come off. The problems continue, viewers, don't worry, we're not done yet. This whole dial assembly here is held together with these pressed-on folded tabs here or something. I don't know. But, I mean, well, Greg, you can disassemble that. You did that with your kitchenette clock that you have in your kitchen now. Well, yeah, but the kitchenette didn't have this stupid setting mechanism like this one and the orb does. So, that's just peachy, viewers. As you can see, I paid the price of 30 Canadian dollars for this one. I'm going to be reselling this. I don't think I'm going to be keeping it. I'm probably just going to replace the power cord and sell it on its merry way. The one upgrade that this clock has compared to the Westclox orb is the power eye, which when it loses power, I should probably put this case back together here. When the clock loses power, this eye goes red. And actually, let's put this together, shall we? Oh yeah, and one more stab at Chase here. This power cord is much nicer than his Dunbar's power cord is. So yeah, maybe I should send it down to him, and he can, in his words, kill himself with a soldering iron. Greg, the power cord is fine, Greg. The power cord is perfectly fine. If you look at it, Greg, you can see that there's no cracks in the wire, or there's no crack. The insulation is on there perfectly fine. And yeah, that's good old Chase for you guys. That's my Chase impression. Notice also there is a strain reliever of some sort here. There's a knot, or actually, no, this is a classic way of strain relievers on power cords. Tie a knot in the cord. I don't know how to, I'm gonna confess here, I don't know how to tie one of these knots. I'm gonna have to learn that. And then this rubber grommet here, which is gone, yeah, this thing's gone hard. This goes into the back here. And it's the perfect, whoops, well, it's a functioning strain relieving system. just in case Chase comes along and yanks on the yanks on the wire. Yeah, I'm gonna plug this clock in for you guys here in a second. I just want you to see how well the time setter functions when the case is actually together. I guess if you give it a hard pull down and just turn it, I think you'll be fine. Yeah, you know what? I might have been wrong earlier about this thing. Although, if I don't really kind of, you know, I don't know. It's easy to, I don't know. This is going to have to take some getting used to whoever owns this clock. Anyway, the upgrade, the power eye here, which keeps resetting itself, it's probably gummed up. And that's a shame because I won't be able to get to it because this whole dial assembly is probably going to have to stay together. That is tragic. Brutal, viewers. And let's just plug this in here. You can see. Look at that. Oh, Robin just hit the window. Look at this. Look at all these modern things, and then there's just the power cord. There's just the acorn nut. Oh, that's great. Anyway, yeah, this shouldn't go red on me here. Looks like this. Yeah, that's the problem with Westclox in this era. They love to just, you know, pull stunts like this where you can't take things apart. It's really tragic. I'd love to take the hands and the dial off, and I don't know if Chase's Dunbar from 1947 is any better than this. I don't know. I think he has this hand, like this hand puller, or this. I think. Well, what am I even saying? This hand setting mechanism. I think his has that. He might not be able to get into his. I don't know. We're gonna find out. I'm probably gonna record. I'm probably gonna call him up on Discord, and we're probably gonna record me working on his with him. I don't know. Mine won't be of any use to either of us, just because it's so drastically different. Maybe the dial section, but not much else. Anyway, that's funny. I gotta get another look at these cords here with the. Oh, look at little acorn nut from 1953 here. I might even put that on another clock. I don't know. Problem is, viewers, when you're pulling it out, you don't want to touch the prongs or anything like that. So, yeah, that's what scares me about this design. I don't know. It's a little intimidating. Now, viewers, you're gonna look at this one and go, "What the heck has Greg got here?" This is a Seth Thomas Catalan Baby Ben. Yes, you heard me correctly. I'm pretty sure this. I don't know if these were made to celebrate the creation of General Time, or not necessarily the creation of General Time, but the merger of Seth Thomas and Westclox. It says Seth Thomas on it, but this is a Westclox Baby Ben movement in there. You can see by the key arrangement and all that. And yes, this one does run. I got this for parts, although I think I'm gonna probably service this one and give the parts. I have another one of these, except it's black. I think I'm gonna part out the black one and fix this one. I think that probably makes more sense to do, because this is such a nice yellow here. Yeah, that's really decent. I don't know if that's like a Bakelite plastic or what that is, but I don't know. It's a really decent find, even though the glass and the hands are missing. This would have had Style 5 Baby Ben hands, and my other one that looks, it's the exact same shape, all it is just black. And it has some sort of paint on the numbers here. I don't know if it's luminous paint or not, I'm gonna have to check. But, yeah, it would have had Baby Ben hands. And I think the crystal, I haven't tested this yet, but I'd like to say that the Style 5 Baby Ben crystal is interchangeable with this one here. Because that'd be really handy right now. I mean, we're kind of missing it on this. To get the movement out of the case here, you got to push together this this snap ring that goes all the way around the clock, and I'm pretty sure you just take those. You take like a protractor or something and stick it in those two holes, and then screw it tighter, and then I would think you'd be able to pop this ring out and then get the rest of this out of here. I don't know. I'll have to experiment with that when I'm actually servicing it. Our next one, we've got another power cord here. What are we gonna reel in, viewers? What can we possibly pull in this time? Uh-oh. It's a Style 7 electric Big Ben. How about that, hey? Oh, yes. the electric flagship big and baby bends are few and far between. Well, not really. I don't know. They're hard to find, I would think. They're much harder to find than the mechanical ones, and when I saw this, I kind of jumped at the chance to get it. Now, I would show you the movement on this right now. And yes, this does run, and we will plug it in, and we'll do all that fun stuff, and we'll hear the alarm. But the thing is with this one, it looks like you have to take the face off to get to the movements. So, you know, I can't just unscrew this bell, and you can see the way this is lipped around. This bell, I think it's lipped into this brass coated bezel here. It's kind of got a lip going in there, so I'd rather not dismantle the whole thing just to see the movement. But for now, I can do you one better. Oklahoma Bridges has uploaded the Westclox 1956 parts manual, and surely enough, this clock is in it. OK Bridges himself can tell you the story in the actual video of how he got a hold of this manual. But anyway, here's an exploded diagram of the Big Ben. So you can see there how it all kind of goes together and all that fun stuff there. So that'll be probably a massive help to us when we're servicing this. Yes, there will be a series on this one if all goes to plan. And yeah, I think it's a great looking clock. And the one disappointing feature about this one is the alarm. It has a buzzer. You got this piece of metal here. You think this would be a bell, but no. They give you a buzzer on the Big Ben. And both this and the Dunbar's cord are both GE products here. You can see. There we go. And yes, we're going to plug this one in as well. You can see the second hand running on this one. Yeah, if you can find one of these Big Bens, I don't know what the serviceability on these is like quite yet, but if you can find one of these, they're really nice looking, and they seem to function fairly well. We'll just pull our alarm out. Oh, and by the way, the alarm tension on this particular one is kind of messed up a little bit, so we'll have to fix that in the series, or at least try to. But, yeah, let's just hear the alarm on this, shall we? So let's just set it off here. Did you hear that? See that? It just bypassed this. That wasn't any good. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if you... There we go. That's your alarm. Kind of disappointing, hey? Like, you think they'd give you a nice, like, bell that's powered off the main rotor, but no, they give you a buzzer. Anyway, at least it sounds fairly, like it sounds like it's functioning properly. There's no excess rattle or something, and this clock is running really quiet. Like, I can't hear that. I'm sure it would start to make noise over time, but, you know, as it is, this is it's pretty decent. And you know what, viewers? I shouldn't actually leave this little area here because we have another electric here. We have a Big Ben, but that's all we know about it. I mean, it's got a model number, but we don't have a style per se. That whole style thing came around in the 1980s. I think Bill Stoddard himself was responsible for that whole styling thing. You know, styles 1 to 10. Really, they all have their own model numbers that no one ever refers to because they're not very memorable. So we're just going to go off the model number on this one. This is a Westclox S6D Big Ben here with a mechanical alarm. And by the way, this cord here, these are really decent power cords here. I'm debating replacing them. Seriously. I mean, they look almost... Well, this one's a little... it's a little dry. Oh, yeah, it's starting to crack here. Okay. Well, yeah, if at that point, then you should. At least the ends are doing really well, though, on a lot of these. So, yeah. This is our Westclox S... what the heck is it? I have to look again. S6D Big Ben that I believe is made of Bakelite plastic here. We've got a CSA approved sticker here on the bottom. The Westclox Sphinx had that. And yeah, the alarm, strangely enough, is key wound. The clock movement is electric, but the alarm is key wound. And as you can see, I'm missing a key for this. And I don't know where in the heck I'd get a key. And the closest thing that would fit this is a Big Ben style 6 key, which I can afford to spare because I have a spare style 6 loud alarm. And yes, it would be the Big Ben loud alarm key. I have a spare one to donate to this, although I think I might have to do some modifications to it because it might not fit that little spot there. I don't know, I'm gonna have to do some rudimentary jacking around with this and see what I can accomplish here. But anyway, let's plug this thing in. This one starts up here. Let's just try and... Our controls feel fairly... These look like the Style 5 knobs, don't they? Anyway, our sweep second hand is going here. Let's just... oh yeah, and we have a power eye on this one. We don't have one on the Big Ben, but we do here. Let's see. Let me just turn the alarm on here. I don't know if we'll get any sort of dinging or anything out of this because it's not wound up. Oh yeah, and the tension's messed up on this one too. So I'm not sure what it's going to take to fix the tension on these clocks. I don't know if whatever is stripped and it's just gonna be like this for the rest of its life, you know? Because when you're turning the hands, if I can find the hand setting knob, when you're turning the hands, the alarm isn't supposed to be, well, it's not moving now. This is our alarm setting hand here, folks. This isn't supposed to be moving around. Well, I'm moving it around here, but it was moving around a second ago. Now it's not. Oh boy, this stuff sometimes, you know, viewers. Anyway, this clock is another nice one to have. It's got a crack in the case in one spot. And believe it or not, it's made in the United States. This is an American one. Probably one of the harder one to find. Well, just because it's electric. But anyway, yeah, this is one of the harder models to find overall. And here it is in Canada. I have no idea. Someone must have brought it with them. Maybe when they moved. I don't know. And you can hear this one making noise too, so. But, you know, a little noise is to be expected from these, even when they're, you know, just serviced and all that. And I'd show you the alarm, but I don't have the key to wind it up. I know, what kind of dumb feature is that, hey? Why would they give you a separate... I have no idea why they do that, but anyway, they've done it, and now I have to clean up their mess. So, good show, hey? It's got vent holes on the back of this thing, but they're really dusty and all that. So yeah, before you operate an electric clock long term, you should really dismantle the whole thing and see how it's doing and make any sort of repairs or replacements to any of the electrical components, aka basically the power cord. Overall, it's a nice clock to own though, so that's good. And to end us off, we have not one but $2 watches. First, we'll start off with our Westclox Pilot here. So this watch I got for parts. It's not in great shape. It's got a massive adhesive glob there. The pendant's missing. This was $20. Not a bad parts watch, really. I'm probably going to part this out to my Westclox Scotty from 1953. And, or I might part it out to the Pocket Ben Luminous Style 5 that I have. I'm not quite sure yet. But this isn't going to be staying as it is. And you ask, Greg, do you have a Westclox Pilot? Yeah, I do already, in much nicer condition than this. Yeah, I've had that since 2019. But anyway, I'm pretty sure the Pilots are kind of a harder dollar watch to find, just because I'm pretty sure they're only made in Canada. I don't think there's any others of these really out there. I don't think the US got these ones. The Westclox Pilot also has some advertising here for it. I'll throw it up on screen. And as you can see here, they're unbranded clocks from the mid-1960s. This is probably Westclox just trying to get rid of old parts that they have lying around and make room for the new machinery, etc., or new parts and whatnot. You didn't think I'd leave the back unopened here for you, did you? Oh, and by the way, I took my watch case opener to the antique store, and I asked, hey, you know, first of all, I brought a Style 5 pocket bin with me, and then I asked her, hey, you know, here's my ticket of authenticity here. I service these watches. I got a watch case opener here. Can I just see the insides of these? And she went, oh, sure, you know, and this is not wanting to come off. Oh, my goodness. Oh, there we go. You finally got it. Yeah, sometimes these things can be super ridiculously tight. It's insane. Anyway, here is the movement. So, lining up with our advertising, this one is from 1966. Can you believe that our Westclox Dax from 2019, I think it was, or no, it wasn't 20, it was early 2020, that Westclox Dax series that I've still got postponed because I accidentally did a little slip and kink with my tweezers and mangled the hairspring. Anyway, this was made a year before that. This is so much nicer. Oh, look at that. Brass, spring barrel cover, 2-spoke balance wheel, a blued screw. Well, the other one had blued screws. I don't know, the whole thing's just finished nicer. And this is nickel plating, and this isn't steel. So, yeah, it was made June of 1966. I don't recommend running clocks and stuff like that before you service them. I mean, this is just running off old gummed up oil that isn't really doing it much good. So I'm surprised it hasn't stopped. It's been kind of stopping and starting as I've been filming here, so I'm not really sure. Also, something's up with the dial on this one. Like, it's all shifted to one side. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. But anyway, yeah, this is parts from the mid-60s. Really nice parts, too, so it's nice to have these. If I could get a whole box of these movements, oh, man. Make all kinds of things. And next up, we have our Westclox Auto Watch, which had some sort of adhesive on the back. Did this have a magnet on it? I feel like this is meant to stick to your car dashboard. I don't know if these had magnets on them. I know there was a Westclox magnet watch, but this obviously isn't it. I don't know. I don't know. This has to go somewhere in your car, but I don't know how to mount it. I wasn't thinking of mounting it in a vehicle. I was just thinking of, you know, trying to hang it up somewhere or something like that. You know, just to have it so, and in case you didn't see my last video on the Westclox Charmer here, have the balance wheel and all that when it's running, have it up like this, or have it vertical, so one point isn't wearing up against the cup. And by the way, this happens over a period of years. You can leave this for one day running dial down or dial up. You're not going to ruin it, but it's just over a period of years. So anywho, this is a 1964 Westclox Auto Watch, and as you can see, that it's got a green, I think it has a paper dial, and you're asking yourself, is that luminous paint? I don't believe so. I know the hands definitely aren't luminous. This would show up fairly well in a dimly lit vehicle. And as you can see, the crown is on the bottom, not the top, like on the Pilot and literally every other dollar watch. And there were a few different versions of the Auto Watch. There was ones with red hands, there was ones with a second hand, there was one with a 24-hour dial, all kinds of different ones. And we got one of the good ones where it has a movement like this in it, except it's just older by only a few years here. I don't know if there ever was a Tally Industries Westclox Auto Watch. That would be really cheap crap with plastic gears probably and all kinds of junk in it. And ooh, this cover is not wanting to come off. There we go. Usually you can get them to pop near the crown. Wherever the crown is, you can probably, I don't know, that seems to work better for me. I can always get them to come off if I aim my case opener near the crown somewhere. Yeah, this has a brass, all brass movement. We don't have any nickel plating in this one. Let's see, how old is this one? November of 1964. So this is the same year the Style 8s came out, the original version. And of course, when the watch is in its main, or the, I guess right side up, you could call it, the movement is upside down. Well, here it's reversed. This doesn't matter. It only matters, once again, if it's dial up or dial down for 100 years or whatever. These aren't that old yet, but we're probably going to get there at some point realistically. And there's the two of them together. With the same movement on both of these. And pocket bend and all, and like the flagship dollar, and these are only the pocket watches, right? They all use the same movement. That, you know, it's a good movement. Why not use it and make slight improvements on it if need be. Or in Tally Industries' case, make budget cuts if need be. Apparently the need was there. Yeah, these watches were throwaway items. I mean, you can service them all you want, and I know how to do it, but the idea was just kind of buy it, use it till it stopped working, and then throw it out or do whatever with it, and then buy another one. Well, that was eventually the case with these in the 1970s and 80s. They just riveted these together and put plastic gears in them eventually, and they got really, really pathetic. So, if you can pick some of those up for next to nothing, then I'd probably salvage the hairspring and balance wheels out of those, and probably donate them to my Westclox DAX there, the 1967 DAX. Anyway, here our auto watch needs a service. I don't know if I'm going to do a series on it. As I may or may not have said now, these are kind of harder to find compared to all the other watches and clocks. The auto watches, I mean, that's what was so great about all this stuff I got, was I got a lot of the unusual stuff that you don't see as much. This included. And also, I have no idea what was wrong with the pricing at this place. This is $25. There was a Style 5 pocket bend there for $125. And as I said, there was another Pilot there for $125, and it had a pendant, and it didn't have adhesive here. So I don't know what was going on that day. I don't know, dollar watch pricing right now, if you're watching this sometime in the future, dollar watch prices in the 2020s, you do not want to get them for more than like 25 bucks or $30. Actually, 30 is even a bit steep. I don't know, the prices are insane right now for some reason. And I don't know who's buying them right now. I don't think collectors are. I don't know what the demand is or how they got these prices in mind. Don't pay much for these because they're not jeweled pocket watches and everything. They're great watches. I absolutely love them, and I find them more interesting than jeweled watches. But then again, I haven't looked into them that much, so like jeweled pocket watches, I mean, I don't know. We may have to look there someday, but for right now, I'm kind of perfectly happy with these. And as a final kind of count here, we have got the receipt. And yes, I did pay 175 bucks for all this stuff. I don't think I did terrible. Some of the stuff, the Westclox Big Ben, like the Big Ben S6 or whatever the heck it's called, 20 bucks. Baby Ben was $10. Seth Thomas was good price. The Style 7 Electric, I think I paid too much for the silver bell. They wouldn't negotiate at that store. So, I'm not really sure what to tell you there. Maybe just don't go to stores that won't lower prices. I don't know. Anyway, the silver bell, yeah, I think I went a little too much. The Pilot was okay. The auto watch was fine. And the Dunbar, I bought it for Chase's sake, but it doesn't look like it'll be much good. And in fact, I was looking at exploded diagrams of the Big Ben whatchamacallit over here, and it has a closer movement to the original Dunbar than the Dunbar does. So that's just great, hey? Also, they taxed me $8 for some reason, so that's great. I've never been to an antique store that taxes you before, but I'll have to remember that for next time. So anyway, guys, we got all that for $175. I don't think we did absolutely awful. We found some fairly hard to, well, most certainly uncommon clocks anyway. Stuff that you usually don't see 9 times out of 10. So that was not, I don't regret finding any of this stuff here. Especially the electric Big Bens and the auto watch. That was kind of the main drawing, I'd say. Anyway, guys, I hope you got something out of this video, and I hope you enjoyed seeing all this stuff. And, yeah, we'll see what we can pick up next time. Or we'll service, I don't know when I'll be servicing any of these. I hope this one relatively soon here, I think. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing all this stuff that I managed to pick up. And, yeah, we'll see you, well, I don't know when the next Alarming Antiques is, obviously. I mean, it'll be, I don't know. It's summertime right now, so, and it's only been summer for, I think, I don't know, 3 weeks now, so the party is just getting started. But, of course, we're not going to be blowing all the cash the whole time. We're going to be servicing stuff as well. And I don't know if I'm going to be servicing this first or one of the dollar watches first. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to start with. Probably the Dunbar is going to happen relatively soon. I don't know. I'll work it out here in my schedule. But anyway, guys, I hope you got something out of this, and I will see you in whatever video comes next.